In the build-up to the Blue Economy Conference commencing tomorrow, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday unveiled the Kenya Coast Guard Services, a newly formed security contingent tasked with protecting Kenya's territorial waters. Estimates now show that the country currently loses 10 billion shillings annually as a result of illegal fishing. Have a look.
1/4 of this industry is quarter of Kenya's coastline. But our people and our country is not benefiting from these resources. Foreign vessels land and process our fish in other countries. Indeed, these resources ought significantly to contribute to our development. We have only to consider the examples of Mauritius, where the blue economy contributes about 11% of Mauritius' gross domestic product. Kenya's blue economy contributes a mere 2.5% of our GDP in absolute terms, meaning approximately 180 billion Kenya shillings. But fully exploited, our blue economy could easily contribute 3 times its present share of GDP and create jobs and huge prosperity for millions of Kenyans.
Well, of course, the Blue Economy Conference is set to start tomorrow. Kenya is hosting alongside, of course, co-host Canada and Japan. And to make sense of blue economy, joining me in studio this morning are 3 of my panelists. To my immediate left is Peter Moll, CEO World Leaders of Today, and also the founder of Stand Up, Shout Out. In the middle is Elizabeth Wakesho Marami. Against the tide, she is the first Kenyan female marine pilot. And to my far left is Mr. Willis Ombimba, who is the regional coordinator for Youth Affairs Coast Region. Gentlemen and lady, many thanks for making time for us this morning. Let's talk of the Blue Economy Conference. So far, 180 countries have confirmed attendance, of which 11 heads of states have so far as well confirmed attendance. A budget of 700 million shillings has been set aside for this 3-day conference, which has on its own as well attracted 10 translators. What is the big deal about blue economy? Let me start with you, Peter.
First of all, when we're talking about the blue economy, I'd like to say it's the blue wave. The blue wave is here, and it's about, and President Uhuru Kenyatta said it when he was in Mombasa launching the Coast Guard and also at the pre-conference. He said, we're not initiating the blue economy, we're revisiting, right? The blue economy has been there for centuries. It's just now time to look at it in a more closer way. Time to put our eye and our focus.
And why has it taken us so long to look at it closely?
Well, I always think, especially in my line of work, it's about political will, it's about opportunities, and it's about job creation, right? So when we're looking at the blue economy and why now and what it is and why it's important, it's about how are we going to satisfy the number of youth graduating, the population of youth in our country and in Africa. How are we going to satisfy their need for job creation, for opportunities, for poverty reduction?
Fair enough. We'll come to blue economy and its connotation to the youth. Let me get to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you are first Kenyan female marine pilot. Let's start with the very basics of definitions. Why blue? Someone who is wondering, why not have a red or whatsoever economy? Why blue economy? Someone who is interested in knowing the inspiration behind the blue
economy.
Yes.
Ideally, the inspiration between the blue economy is basically because our oceans and our seas and waterways are actually referred to as blue. As much as we know, it's just a reflection of the sky, but it's referred to as blue. And being that a larger percentage of the earth is covered by water, which is our seas and oceans, it was having this concept whereby we tapping into the economic opportunities of the blue economy, not forgetting sustainability, because we can tap into it, and then what happens when we over tap into it? So as we tap, we are sustaining it, and this concept coming up has been, I think, one of the greatest opportunities that have been accorded to people, because people, as I say, it covers a larger percentage of the earth. Hence, very many people are exposed, or rather have it at arm's length.
Fair enough. Let me get to Willis. Willis, Kenya is co-hosting this conference alongside Japan and Canada. Which begs the question, does this give Kenya a mileage, knowing that it's co-hosting with fairly global leaders when it comes to Japan and also Canada?
Yeah, thank you, Abu. First of all, let me make a correction on my name. I am Ombima. It's a mouthful of a name. It's Ombima. Yeah, thank you. It is a very big milestone for our country to host this conference on blue economy because of several reasons. First, it shows the importance and the priorities of our country, as has always been placed by our head of state. That the government is keen on looking at opportunities to make our economy grow, to make our people be able to earn more so that we can be able to eradicate or reduce poverty. Because it is one of the ways through which, as a people, as Kenya, we can be able to work in, take advantage of the opportunities we have in the blue economies.
And what are some of the opportunities that the blue economy offers?
Blue economy, there are so many opportunities. One is a job creation, where we have our waterways, different types of skills can be absorbed. Madam here is one example of direct absorption into the blue economy as a marine navigator. There are those ones who can come in as engineers, as technicians. There are those ones who come in as seamen. There's a clip there just play. These are employment opportunities, job creation opportunities. The next one is an issue of poverty eradication, which is real, which is actually a step that we can be able to realize much when you come into the issue of blue economy. And another thing that normally is tied to blue economy is attainment of regional peace, local peace and regional peace in terms of reduction of conflicts in situations where we have natural water resources involved. We are well aware of the issues at the Indian Ocean, issues Lake Turkana, issues of Lake Victoria. We are also within the lake region. So also within the lake region, we know issues that are there in the Congo. Now, how can we take advantage of the blue economy? How can we take advantage of the leadership that's been indicated, shown by our president, to be able also to foster peace within the region?
The conference is happening, of course, from tomorrow. The world is gathering in Nairobi at a time equally when Kenya and Uganda are in somewhat diplomatic row over Migingo, as well as a case against Kenya by Somalia at the International Criminal Court over maritime disputes. Have we, as you finish on your thought, have we clearly mapped out our marine environments?
I may not be authoritatively, I may not authoritatively talk on that matter, but from where I am, this is a platform. Blue Economy Conference and engagements is a platform for us within the East African region to be able to work together so that we can be able to resolve some of these issues. I know there are so many things being done in government towards resolving that. But for now, this is an opportunity we have as a country and our partners in the region, our neighbors, to be able to foster peace in the region.
Fair enough. Peter, when we talk of blue economy and when we talk of water bodies as well in general, one thing that often, many at times comes into people's mind exclusively is on fisheries. It's all about fishing. Yet, if you look at the activities of the blue economy, includes harvesting of living resources such as seafood and marine biotechnology, non-living resources, generation of new resources. Why is there a focus exclusively on fisheries? Is Kenya at a point when we can say blue economy is more than just fishing?
First of all, I think it's a lack of awareness and a lack of education. When we talk about the blue economy, many people don't even understand the concept because they think, what is this blue economy? So I think when we're focused on fishing is because that's the traditional, that's what's been put in our faces. But you have to look at the value chain. And when we talk about fishery, if I have a fishing company, there is the fisherman, there is the processing, then there's obviously the people who need to market, who need to find the market, who need to market the product. There's the people who are selling the product. There's the middleman. There's the transportation from the border to the truck. So I think it's really, this is an opportunity to highlight all the areas of the blue economy and the opportunities of job. There's a lack of understanding of ecotourism. There's a lack of understanding of how can we use these water bodies from rivers to lakes to oceans to actually bring opportunity for our youth. So I think it's a lack of understanding, a lack of education, and this is why this Blue Economy Conference is so important, to shed light on the wider range of things that we can do with this opportunity.
Fair enough. Let me get to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you are Kenya's first female marine pilot. On a curious note, I want to understand what your job entails.
Well, the job entails safely navigating vessels, or rather ships, into the harbor, the port of Mombasa, that is. When they get into the territorial waters, they are not, the foreign captains are not allowed to navigate into our waters. So our Kenyan captain is mandated, or rather tasked, to go out in the open seas and to board the vessel and safely navigate it into the harbor. Once cargo operations are done, the Kenyan captain boards the vessels and safely navigates the ship until it's at the exit point of the harbor, and disembarks until now the captain is...
Does that mean without you certifying, verifying a certain vessel, it can't come to Kenyan waters?
The verification of vessels ideally is, yes, we play, Kenya Ports Authority plays a major role, but also we have other entities that work closely, like the Kenya Maritime Authority, which is the maritime administration and mainly the regulator. So they also have play in a hand whereby they can decide which vessels come in. But yes, we play a part in the sense where sizes, the ship size, we will not bring in a ship that cannot be fit the channel, per se.
Fair enough. Willis, every economy operates in an idiom. It doesn't just operate in a vacuum. Yeah. How much of importance is the taking care of water bodies to the sustainability of a blue economy?
Thank you, Abu. I think from where we are, Kenya moving into 2030 and beyond, the blue economy is where we can do much to be able to leverage on so many other areas. First thing is the provision of that employment, the opportunities that will be created in terms of employment. And I'm talking that passionately concerning the youth. This is a large group, part of our population. Many a times when we are looking at our unemployment statistics, they are the ones that are heavily affected. Now, and we keep on saying, now, how do we create employment opportunities for them? We have an angle to that, and that's a blue economy. And when we talk about employment opportunities in the blue economy, we're only not talking about fishermen. There's a myriad of employment opportunities.
We'll come to the youth and blue economy a little bit later. But my question was, taking care of the water bodies, how essential is it to the sustainability of a blue economy? Let Willis answer, then I'll come to you.
Okay, thank you. Now, it is important because so many aspects of our life as a country, our economies, are tied on the existing water bodies that we do have. One, Kenya is among the identified water scarcity areas. So how sure are we, or how are we going, what are we going to do to make sure we move out of that area? We must be able to look into how are we utilizing and protecting those water reserves that we have.
Okay, Peter, you wanted to respond to that question as well?
Yes, I mean, it's very important. Just as my fellow panelists said, sustainability of the blue economy is how we use it in a sustainable way. Conservation of our water bodies is prime. You know, we're talking about the blue economy to some youth, and they said, are you sure Nairobi has a blue economy? Is it not a gray economy because of our Nairobi River and etc.? So I think when we talk about the blue economy, it goes hand in conservation. And conserving the waterways, making sure the pollution is reduced, even talking about now maybe removing plastic bottles. And so we have to look at it in a very serious sense. When we talk about economic opportunity of our blue economy, of our water bodies, it must go hand in hand in making sure that this water body is preserved so that it can be utilized in the best way.
Fair enough. You talk of conservation. Let me get to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, where or even who then does the conservation begin from? If we are to conserve the blue economy, the water bodies, whose responsibility is it?
I think the responsibility of the conservation of the waters, or even generally living things on Earth, starts with you and I, essentially. Nobody has to stand there and tell us that we need to conserve this. We should have it at the back of our mind, because if we do not know it, then nobody can push us to do it. So essentially that lies highly on you and I to conserve this, the maritime resources that are ahead of us.
Fair enough. On that note, we are taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more conversation, of course. We are taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more of blue economy, this time tailoring it towards the youth. What are the benefits and, of course, what are the areas that the youth can tap into in as far as blue economy is concerned? Stay tuned. We'll be back after this break.